To me, one is smartest, other puts the pride in me. One is saying speak the truth, other feeds the lies to me. One uses the eyes to see the beautiful, the other got him locked in every image that is known to be lewd and it's disputable. With not to follow and wits to bottle up inside my hollow head. I feel it, my misguide. Tomorrow may not be the same. See, no matter what, both leaves are falling from the same tree. Sometimes it blurs in the middle, does emerge as another side. First in this riddle, then the good real slowly converges with evil and gives birth to me. It gives birth to me. It's a constant battle with my conscience, rattling my insides, all sort of nonsense. What I know is wrong up against what feels right. Show me what is real, I've been waiting on an inside. It's a constant battle with my conscience, rattling my insides, all sort of nonsense. What I know is wrong up against what feels right. Show me what is real, I've been waiting. Yo. Both sides got a role to play, both are really close to me until the day I'm old and gray. Finally when my soul escapes into the golden ray of light. At the end of my whole parade, my actions get recorded by the angels on my shoulder blades. My mind is in a crisis, the only bit of good in me, it's splicing with a virus. The fight inside, deciphering what lies behind my eyelids. The righteous part of me, it slowly gives into my vices. I dive into my psyche, find a place for me to hide again. Day to day, I'm tired of playing host to a leviathan. I walk along a crooked path, right between the good and bad. My should have done, standing looking pale against my shouldn't haves. This is the type of thought that keeps me up deep in doubt. One is try to weed them out, the other takes the cynic crowd. It's me plus all you other homo sapiens. Every 9 months pushing out little Damien's a mouch.
Hey yo, this is Moat Silver.
Green, what is that button on your body armor?
A peace symbol, sir.
What is that you've got written on your helmet?
Born to kill, sir.
You write born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. What's that supposed to be, some kind of sick joke?
No, sir. I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
The what?
The duality of man, the Jungian thing, sir.
It's a constant battle with my conscience, rattling my insides, all sort of nonsense. What I know is wrong up against what feels right. Show me what is real, I've been waiting on an inside.
Private Joker by Moat Silver. We are getting ready. It's happening right here. It's with Baksho.
What I know is wrong up against what feels right. Show me what is real, I've been waiting on an inside.
Get ready for Faya Braz very, very soon. He's with us. Drop your comments and get ready. You might even get the chance to talk to him right here live. Yeah. Make sure you share this. Make sure everyone knows about this. And definitely spread the love. Say, yes? Yeah. That's right. Beats with Baksho, and I am right here, back in the game. Let me bring my face. Where's my face? Hey, you gotta bring my face on, bro. Boom. Yeah, what's up? All right, Beats with Baksho is back after a huge break, and when I'm back, I definitely have to bring one of the legends from the beatboxing scene. Literally, I don't know. I can't really describe in words at the moment. I'm super excited, and I'm sure you are as well. Make sure you share this and make sure you tell everyone about this. And of course, if you have questions, if you want to ask things to this legend, you know what to do. Just comment. And right now, let's welcome him. Say ish in the comment section. This is simultaneously simulcasting at the same time in the BeatBaksho page, the YouTube channel, and of course the group. So you're watching it everywhere. You know, spread some love. Right now we're gonna bring on screen the one, the only Faya Braz. What's up? Yes.
Yes.
Super excited, man. This is amazing. Wow, it's so amazing to have you.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. And you know what's really amazing is there's so much that's happening around the world, and beatboxing, especially with the whole digital revolution that happened in the last decade or so or more. We are getting closer and closer, to be honest. You know, the distance doesn't really matter. And the borders don't really matter. Beatboxing.
That's the good thing about it. That's the good thing about it. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, man. Super awesome. So you guys know what to do. Spread some love. Say Esh in the comment section.
Yes.
And Faya Braz, first thing that I want to do, I usually do this for those who do not know anything about beatboxing, those who do not know anything whatsoever about the art form, or even you. So the first couple of minutes, I would like you to introduce yourself to the new generation who needs to know who Faya Braz is.
Okay, my name is Faya Braz. I'm a beatboxer from Paris. I'm 40 years old. I just turned 40 just 1 month ago. I started beatboxing in 1996, something like that, 5-6. So it's been technically 24 years I'm beatboxing. I've been more a beatboxer than a non-beatboxer, actually. And I'm part of the generation. Can talk with this. We'll talk about this later, I guess. But I'm part of the generation in Europe that made beatbox come back to Europe and made beatbox born again through Europe. We will talk about this, I guess. So I'm one of the old heads. I can do this. Not very old. I don't like the term because technically I'm not really old school beatboxer. The old school is the legends just before me. Technically, historically wise, I'm just the middle school of beatbox, and what we call the new school is really more recent. And I can really talk about this later. But yeah
definitely.
What can I say more? People started to know me with Mike Spawn, with the Artifice crew. Then I've been with Under Control. We've been the World Beatbox Champion team in 2009, and then Vice World Champion in 2015 against Beatbox Collective. Big edge to them. And the last championship I did was the French Beatbox Championship 2017, and I won it with my new group whose name is End of the Game, with Kim, Skuya, and Collapse.
EOG,
yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, awesome. You guys know what to do. Ask Faya Braz the questions you have been storing for all these months, thinking if I could actually get to talk to him. Well, you can. You 2 to 3 of you would be, we will just choose you from the comment section. If you have a really good question, I might choose you, Faya Braz might choose you, or we just might randomly be here. You know what to do. We'll definitely bring you on this live, of course, podcast, and you can ask him questions. But let's talk about beatbox. Let's talk about the stuff that we love the most.
Let's go.
Since we're going back in history, Faya Braz, one thing that you mentioned, just one name you mentioned, I heard of him, and I just needed to know more about the guy. Then I went to Taiwan, and I heard about more in details about him from BMG, and the guy is Mike Spawn.
Of course,
he's one of the revolutionary individuals,
definitely.
So, can you tell us a bit about Mike Spawn and when you were there in this, the early days of the scene, how things were for beatboxing culture?
Basically, in the early day of the scenes, I met Mike Spawn at college, university. And I've met him at the chilling place, and we had a common friend that who saw I was beatboxing and who knew Mike Spoon. He knew he was beatboxing, so he decided to introduce each other to each other. So that's what happened, and we actually met before, but without knowing we were beatboxing. And then we instantly starting beatboxing together with the Artifice crew who was there as well. And then I discovered that was the first time I was meeting a beatboxer. I mean, a beatboxer that much concerned by beatbox as me. I mean, another crew of guys that were really into it, and especially Mike Spawn, because this guy, I mean, he's one of my, I don't know. He means a lot to me in the beatbox history and in my personal evolution. We actually were sending each other messages this morning with Alem and him about techniques,
Nice.
about things about the egg technique. I can talk about this too. And Mike Spawn was so innovative at the time. He brought so much things to the table of the beatbox. Today we've been asked to. Yeah.
Faya Braz, can you hear me? Sorry,
Hear
I
you.
think the internet kind of went off. Yeah, go
Yeah,
back.
I was
Sorry.
just out for 2 seconds. I was saying things happen. I was saying that Mike Spawn is also. We've been asked as French beatboxers and French community, why are we so close? And we are so close because we are all friends, real friends. 80% of my friends are beatboxers. Right now I'm at Tico's house from Under Control. Shout out to Tico. And after that, I will meet Bronix and.
Okay. We'll be facing a lot of the Wi-Fi problems today. Sorry about that. Some on my side, some on Faya Braz's side. I hope we'll get Faya Braz back very soon. Meanwhile, if he can hear me, I hope he can come back in just a few seconds. Drop the ashes in the comment section. I'll definitely ask him about that question as well. So let's see what comes up. Yep, you're
I'm
back.
Yeah, I'm back.
The heat must be killing the internet.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yes.
All good. Okay.
And I don't know where was I? Where did you lose it?
You were saying you were at Tico's place Under Control. I said
I'm
shout out and boom.
Yeah, I said shout out to Tico, and I said 80% of my real friends are beatboxers right now. And my plan tonight after the podcast is going to see Sammy Try and Bronix and probably Rewind and eat with these guys and chill with these guys.
So beatbox is your morning, day, night, evening, everything.
That's basically my life, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things in France we have is that we are all really close. And one of this, I mean, the spirit and the mind of the French beatbox community is a bit a side effect of what Mike Spawn brought at the time, because it was very talkative, very friendly, very, he was a gatherer. This guy gathered so much people and spread so much love and so much technicality in beatbox, so much things. So he's one of the pillars of French history, and maybe people don't know. But if you come right now, if you know Alem, you got to know Mike Spawn, because Mike Spawn style is a strong basic. For example, for Alem style, the technique that Alem gave the name to the technique, but the technique was invented by Mike Spawn, the egg technique.
Egg technique. You were just saying that.
This technique was developed by Mike Spawn in 2004, 5, something like that. So that's why I can do it too, because we practiced it together. Wow. And then he even got me out at the semi-final of 2006 at the French Beatbox Championships. I went to semi-final, and I was facing Mike Spawn, and he got me out with the this is basics of Alem. Alem gave the name of egg technique. Our conversation this morning was about this, but
So there was a debate going on, right, regarding the whole.
the West Side beat as well. The West Side beat is a song we were jamming a lot. We were, we are street guys. We were a lot in the streets with Mike Spawn and the guys, and we are hip hop heads. And our actuality was the game. 2005, I think, and he dropped out the song West Side Story, and we were playing it, and we worked it. Me and Mike Spawn worked it, and at the end of the day, we had like the elimination of the French Beatbox Championships coming, and Spawn told me like, "Yo, let me do this beat," and I say, "Okay, no problem, do it." We practiced it together, and then he came at the. You can watch that video. It's from 2006 on the French Beatbox Championship 2006 Mike Spawn elimination, and you will see some egg technique, and you will see some and as I tell you, Alem has a strong knowledge of the French history and the beatbox history, and he was actually a big fan of us, and so a big fan of Mike Spawn. So he really is our style a lot. I know he got some patterns. Alem got some patterns. He gave the name like I got a pattern which is called Faya. He calls it Faya because for him he learned it about my style. I think it's this one. It was one of my patterns, and he took it, and the name he gives is Faya. I mean, Alem keeps saying it, but people don't hear. But Alem keeps saying it, and at the World Championship, he just did a tribute to Mike Spawn. One of his rounds was a tribute to Mike Spawn, and he won the competition. So the style of Mike Spawn was really important into the technique and the French style development. He's not the only. I don't say he's the only beatboxer, but he's one of the masterpieces of the beatbox in France. And the spirit we have today is a bit like a side effect of the behavior he had and the spirit we had too, as a group, because we were around him, and it was a gathering energy, and I think this is still living like that, and this is just the butterfly effect of this today in France is why we're so close and why we so, I mean, we've been asked why we're so strong in beatbox, because we all the time keep sharing things, call each other, go to each other's house, go to holidays together. I was on holidays this summer. I was on holidays at Alex's house and Furak's house.
You went to the mountains as well as
I went to the mountains.
Collapse and everyone.
Collapse went to the mountains. Yeah. We last week I was all the week with Collapse, Kim, and Skuya, and our sound engineer Clay, because we are preparing our show, and we want to construct and build it really like a sound texture and things like that. So we work like basically, beatbox is my whole life, basically. So this spirit comes a bit from Mike Spawn, a lot from Mike Spawn. He's a masterpiece. Go and search for Mike Spawn if you're a newcomer in the beatbox. You really have to see Mike Spawn as a beatboxer to understand the rest.
Definitely, and you brought in something very strong that I believe the new beatboxers need to know. Like Nahin just pointed out, his rough techniques. It worked like a butterfly effect. Mike started it, and I think it's MIC, Mike Spawn.
Mike Spawn, yeah.
Started it now.
Exactly.
And we do it too without knowing how it was originated. A very good point that I would love to ask you, Faya Braz.
And if I can rebound on this, sorry to interrupt, but if I can rebound on this, Mike Spawn is one of the biggest fan of Razel. You know, the butterfly effect keeps on going. So at the end of the day, you have Alem, which is linked to Razel, which is linked to, Dougie Fresh, which is, the technical story is here too. It's not only like technical story is here too. Razel taught so much to beatboxers of my generation, and it gave so much. It gave so much basics, strong basics. I think if we have to keep one name in the beatbox, this is Razel.
Man,
And it is my opinion, but I think my opinion is not far from the truth.
no, definitely, and I'm sure everyone agrees with it. But
Yeah.
you've hit a
Big
spot
shout
which
out
is
to Razel.
yeah, definitely a mad shout out, and
Much respect.
I think it was for me. I had goosebumps because when you, Dougie Fresh, and we were having the discussion in the BoxCon Global one, and some of the greatest beatboxers were actually commenting, including
That's it.
Razel.
Razel was there.
So
Rocks and
good.
Loops was there. That was
My
insane.
God.
I agree. That was totally insane.
Unbelievable.
That was totally insane.
Unbelievable.
And Doug too. Doug is basics. Without Doug, we're not here. Without Razel, we're not here.
Totally. But one thing that I would love for you to shed some light on, and thank you for pointing that out. Also, the butterfly effect part when you mentioned Razel, because Dougie Fresh, and it's kind of building blocks. And this is the discussion we had before. The building blocks, because if you don't put in the cement, then the next one doesn't go in, and the next one doesn't go in.
That's it.
Exactly.
If you start at the last floor, you will get some things, but you need the basics to understand.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, Alem getting the ek thing from all the way, and also bringing one of your flows, and of course giving shout outs. And like when I heard of Mike Spawn in details, and when BMG explained it to me, I'm like, holy crap. And a new level opened up for me. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I heard because of this guy. And it started in Europe. And then that goes back linked
This is
to
the
Razel.
same. This is the same with BMG. It is exactly the same process with BMG. BMG was a big fan of us too. And we just, it's been like more than, 12 years that we all hang around together. So we've been in some places, in some festivals. And I remember a festival when we were playing with Under Control. The festival was Highland Festival in Switzerland, organized by Kemar, the Green Sayaman. And it was a huge festival. A lot of beatbox in this festival. Beatbox, drum and bass, reggae. That was sick in middle of the mountain in Switzerland. And I remember we were there with Under Control, and 20 Mate was there. And I remember BMG had already his snare. When I met him, he had the spit snare, which was called the BMG snare for long, and he had already this, and he heard the first he told me he liked the way I was doing like kisses for my hi-hats. I mean, back in the days I was doing this, and BMG just took it and he did the kiss control technique. It's inspired by this. And then he met Mr. Lips, who is a dope beatbox drummer. If you don't know about Mr. Lips, I know newcomers won't know about Mr. Lips, but he was one of the beatboxers of Under Control, and he's one of the dopest beatbox drummers ever. Really, he was doing like 70% of the drums in Under Control, and he was so groovy. And this guy, he has a special hi-hat phrase, which is the basic of his style and his groove. And the phrase is
right. Wow. Okay.
So he was doing that. This is 100% Mr. Lips technique. Then BMG, he was loving already as a hi-hat. He was already loving it. And then he saw Mr. Lips doing, and the groove is so intense that I remember 20 Mates staying like that for hours and listening to Mr. Lips, and they were shocked by the groove. There was nothing like really technical or something like that, but the groove is insane. Really, you really have to dig more into Mr. Lips. I really encourage this. This is strong basics for French beatbox too. He created a lot of grooves, and he created a lot of things, influenced a lot of beatboxers. You really have to know about him. And then BMG saw the okay, and he was already loving the technique, so it did, and it became the basics of the style of hi-hats of BMG. And he can really go fast with it. He really can go fast with it, way faster than me, way faster than Mr. Lips. But he can go fast with the kiss control is even. He was inspired by me, but I can't do the kiss control as he does it. He gives credit for this, but he took the technique and took it way further. It's one of the hardest technique. Even Collapse says it. Collapse says it's one of the hardest techniques when I talk with Collapse. And it just BMG just took the with the spit snare and it was just
right.
He was doing things like that, and this is the main core of his hi-hat game, and this is the story of these hi-hats, for example, which gave the and if you talk with him, he will tell you exactly what I say. Bro. It's even him, he's like I took it like from. He will explain you.
Man, this is
more in
like
details, maybe how he worked it.
Yeah, this is like a chart, if we go back and if we kind of like, how should I put it? Say this is a chart at the background, and we have, say, Dougie Fresh, we have Brazil here. Then we have a lot of people in the mid 90s to the early 2000s. Then you also, like, during your time when you said 96, you have Mike Spawn somewhere. Why are you moving? Mike Spawn somewhere. Then you have everyone else. If you link all the sounds as they were made and
everything
how it roots back.
Everything
is interlinked. My God. And
everything's linked.
One thing everyone needs to know, no matter how much you're going into the new sounds, like, say lip rolling, that's the new kids go like, oh, I can lip roll. Yes, that's great. But this is what I keep telling them. Basics, no matter what, basics. And the information that you're giving. Yeah.
But one crazy thing about the lip roll, for example, is that I swear, you had like a bunch of guys doing this back in the days, in the old times, but nobody was paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We just were like, wow, because we were I don't know, we didn't pay attention to it as the next generation did,
right?
And I mean, some of our noises that we do. That new school didn't pay attention for years. They discovered the thing, and they're like, "Wow, this is constant cycle." I think I told this story on the BoxCon Global, but I have a story. I was at the after party of the Florida Beatbox Battle. I was with new cats like Ken Ozen, River, and people like that, and Synopsis, people like that, and I was showing them videos from the Beatboxer DOA. Just the 10 first seconds, Ken Ozen told me, is he alone? He reacted like a non-beatboxer. And Ken Ozen is fucking strong, he got some techniques, he got some, but when new cats see this, it's like as amazed as you can be as you are a non-beatboxer. This is the magic of the beatbox, and I think this is cycles. You have cycles like fashion, This is cycles. You have some noises or some techniques that are interesting in a period specific area, and then it becomes, it goes to mainstream, from mainstream to maybe some, like a couple of guys will still work on it, and when these guys will do it, they will like, you're so original. No, I'm just one of the two guys doing it. This is things like that. Like a lot of people say, I got skills in vocal scratch, so I hope I got skills vocal scratch. But I mean, we are not that much doing it,
right?
So I mean, I would love, back in the days, it was like you had to vocal scratch, so you was working for it. And now it's not mainstream. So when you hear a vocal scratcher, you're like, wow. And it's why like when I did like a scratch video during the lockdown, and I had a lot of good feedback of people loving it, saying I was original. But the beatboxers that get back to me were like, I don't know, Tom Thumb, Slither, Mike Spawn, they get back to me and say we spoke like technique scratch, Tom Thumb told me, oh, I love this. This was I think the scratch was the tears or dice, because they all have names, We were talking about this.
Yeah.
We were talking about and he said, I like the dice scratch you did, the baby scratch. It was a baby scratch. He said, I love the baby scratch you did on this part and blah, blah, people that got back to me finally with the technique of the scratch are people that are doing it still at the moment. And why TomTom kills it at vocal scratch? Because he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, and it developed. It developed, got better and better.
Style, like I did. Like he was interested by that at the time, and then kept on doing his style. So now when we do it, we really sound original, but we just kept doing it. Like I'm just really angry about Alexinho Junior. I'm really angry about Alexinho because he knows I want him to work more on the vocal scratch because he got a really high techniques and he can really become a killer in vocal scratch, but he doesn't work on it. I'm really hungry. Work on it.
Alexinho, if you're watching this, work on it.
I'm full of inside jokes with him. And don't pay attention.
I'm sure because you guys are closely in it, and I'm sure they'll get it as well. And man, my God, the insights that I'm getting, the information that I'm getting, I'm sure everyone's getting this. They're getting blown away. Any questions that you have, you want to ask Faya Braz, now is a good time to ask him. And 1, 2, or 3 of you will get to talk to him live right here on the podcast. Let me tell you quickly, by the way, this is supported by Beatbox Bangladesh, and it's powered by Nagib Hawk. Major shout out to all of them, Esh. And mad respect to the French beatbox community as well. One of the things I really want to know, and this is a question we discussed in the BoxCon Global, but like I mentioned, today we have a lot of new people, is we can look into YouTube and torrent and something we can search. Don't do illegal downloading, guys. But there are lots of videos and histories and archives that we don't have access to. So I can talk about Razel right here, but someone will go like, can you tell me more about Razel? Then I can get you a video. Kenny Mohammed, we can get you a video because it's on YouTube. We can get Faya Braz video. We can get Alexino's, early age or Mike Spawn videos. We can. But the links in between, we don't know a lot about that. So a question that we discussed once again, but I want you to talk about it, is how did hip hop in general and the birth of beatboxing start in France? And what did you witness?
I witnessed a lot of things. Basically, it's true for what you say. We have a lot of problems. The hip hop in general, I already went to some meetings with hip hop heads in Paris. Dancers, rappers, stuff like that, to find some archives. This is one of the points we lack a lot because we didn't have the network like internet, like things like we were less linked.
Exactly.
Like you had to go with the cameraman, and the cameraman was living in that part of Paris, and he had to move because his grandmother just died, and I don't know, whatever the some tragic things that made the cassettes situations that made it disappear. Like you can't find the footage anymore, because it wasn't online. So I know some people are working about this in Paris, at least in the hip hop, to gather some archives. So I think it's really nice if we beatboxers do this. Yes, we have YouTube. Yes, we have internet, but internet might go down one day. I don't know. There might be a problem. Some videos can be deleted. So I encourage the most you can to just keep the most videos you can and so the archive issue is real. And but the thing I would like to say is that when we lack some archives, the archives are us. The archives are the guys that were there. And when I look for some archives, like I don't know, when I was at the Beatbox camp in 2017, I just stayed like 1 hour and a half with Razel, and I was like, because he was telling me some big archives, backstories we don't know and stuff like that, you can't, there's a generation that think that can learn everything online. this is true for 40 or 50% of the situation. But if you want to understand, if you want to progress, if you want to improve more, you got to meet. This is the only way, because this is how you're gonna get access to the archives we miss. You have to, and I encourage. So right now with the COVID situation, it's really hard to meet. But I mean, the going to events, creating events, are just pretext to beatboxers for meeting and sharing.
Right.
And
Right.
if you look, if you do like a scientific analysis of who's a strong beatboxer, who wins competition, and who is, who gave, this is people who come to the event. I mean, you can get a very good level in your room, but once you don't go on stage with the mic in hand, with the pressure of the battle, with the crowd,
Exactly.
with the broken voice because you screamed all day because you met all your friends, hey, things like that.
Yeah.
Because the venue is dry, because I don't know, you miss water or drink water, you miss water or things like that.
Yeah.
It's like I really, really, really encourage, and I really push the generation to go to events, or even to create events, to meet
I
and go to
agree.
events, to go to events, to meet the old and new heads, because we are talking from a point of view, and I'm talking from a point of view where Alem is not new school anymore. Alexino is not new school anymore. You understand what I'm saying? It means like we are in constant evolving, constant evolution. So I think it's really important to keep this archive will, as you said, it might be a problem because we don't have any archive. The best is to go and ask to the concerned people. I think this is the best right now, because there is definitely some things we will miss. Definitely.
I
A lot of
agree. And
the biggest part of the iceberg, we miss it. We have to meet
Exactly.
and talk with the old heads, which I'm
and
not.
one of the most important one of the most important things, I believe, and I agree, going from the flow of what you said, because at one time, 30 years ago, or the early days of beatboxing, say, and I'm not talking about hip hop's early days, not the 70s. It wasn't easy to do archives. It wasn't easy to talk about stuff. And it's just like how we'll talk about an adventure in France in the 1700s. And if you don't write the history down, you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And now that almost every single country has a beatboxing community, almost every single country has a beatboxing community. The history, because that country has someone or a group of people who bring in beatbox, and that group of people bring it from someone, and it's an entire line, and the history has to come in, because in France there's, like you said, the ek thing, and the techniques that you use, it's not the same we use in Bangladesh, but we do use the techniques that you introduced, and we didn't know. I'm sure, I didn't know a lot of things. A lot of people didn't know what you said today, and they heard it for the first time. Now we have a new entry in our history books that we found out from Faya Braz. That, hey guys, did you know? This is how it happened.
I think it's more like there's nothing wrong with not knowing. There's something wrong with not looking for it.
Exactly.
This is more like I can say the issue is this. There's nothing wrong about not knowing. When you start, you don't know. And once you know, once you trying to go further, you have to dig for it. You have to be curious if you want to improve. The best beatboxers are the ones that know history of the techniques the best. Guys who go to the event, guys who are fully dedicated to this. This and that really know what they're doing. It depends on what you want to do, but I could say it like that.
And I think to go forward, you definitely have to go back, and I'm a sucker for that. History is something that makes me always feel there is a lot more to do in the future because of how things were back then. What I want to know about what I know, but I want others to know, because we're getting a lot of information from you that I believe will build our community, not just as beatboxers, but also people, as human beings, because even beatboxing itself makes us think positively to a direction of the harmony we have when we're with friends, of sharing knowledge. So I want the Bangladeshis, the Indians, and everyone who's watching this to know a bit more about the crews that you worked with. For example, the crews that inspired you. For example, right now you're at the house of one of the individuals from Under Control.
Yeah.
So if you can tell us a bit more, and how do we find out and listen to the music that you guys did? I know there is a radio interview where you're beatboxing from the mid 2000s. So just tell us a bit about that.
So for my personal progression, I'm a hip hop head. So I just grew up in the hip hop. So that's my main inspiration. Like I'd say 80%. But I love every kind of music. I'm not sectary. I love rock. I love drum and bass. I love anything that's good music. It's not linked to the style. The style of music I listen to is because this is the most I've listened to, so I'm really interested into that style. But I love grime. I love any kind of music, But I'm really tainted with hip hop and street culture. But for Under Control, you can see the here, because I'm at Tico's house right now. So Tico from Under Control, and the thing is that we had. It's how can I say this? We had no references. We were not inspired by beatbox groups. We were inspired by DJs most of the time, and DJs and musicians we love, like I don't know, Cypress Hill. Like it's around hip hop. Like a lot of I just say Cypress Hill, but some will say some reggae music. A lot of reggae music, the drum and bass scene. A lot of things. Afex Twin as well, which is something totally different. I don't know, Ronnie Size. Most of the hip hop. I don't know. A lot of West Coast music, New York as well. I don't know. A lot of inspired by a lot of this music, but the shape of it, the shape of Under Control, was mainly influenced by DJs and turntablism. We were a big fan of turntablism, and one of the other reason why France has a good level in beatboxing is because hip hop came to Europe through France.
Right.
Early
That's
80s.
what I wanted to know.
So it means that when you look back at the old heads, they were more polyvalent. When you talk with the old head, he was able to beatbox, rap, do a graffiti, scratch on the turntables, and dance. And with the time, we had the people choose a specialty and stayed into it. But I mean, at the time, the DJ culture was way more spread. So, and in the hip hop, especially in the hip hop, and we had like a really big love for groups like Virgin Amnam, C2C, the Executioners. Executioners are a big influence. If you don't know who they are American. They are legendary. They are legendary.
There's even one with Mike Shinoda. That's how a lot of people got to know them. Where they did one track with the Executioners. It starts with an X, not an E.
Yeah, exactly. They did a track with Kenny Mohammed, actually.
Kenny Mohammed, yeah, exactly.
They did a track with Kenny Mohammed, actually. It's called A Journey into Sound. And they did an album called Built from Scratch. And these guys were the first really big DJ team to do some tricks together, but really tight. Execution, it was Rob Swift, Rock Raider, R.I.P., Total Eclipse, and Mr. Sinister. These four DJs, and then after Birdie Nam Nam, and then C2C, we were a lot influenced by these guys. We would love the scratch world and the turntable world. So we decided to give Under Control the shape of 4 DJs, and we just produced something we wanted to do. It was just the group we wanted to see, because this group wasn't existing. We were like, yo, what about the 4 beatboxers doing DJ tracks and turntablism tracks on stage, like really tight and stuff with the scene and stuff. This is how it was born. So it was not, of course, individually we were influenced by a lot of beatboxers, but I mean the shape of the group is the first one, and we are the first. We put up the very first beatbox LP in France. It was not existing before. Beatbox LP in France, it was not existing before our album, so it came very late. So beatbox, it took time to get there.
Where can we listen to this EP? LP,
You can get it on Spotify, on all platforms. It was out on 2011, and maybe there's a CD right there. I don't know. I'm at Tico's house, so I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's there. Just wait a second.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone, you know what's happening right now. Faya Braz is here. We are going back in history. And of course, there's so much that you guys need to know.
This
and
is
Jara Jare Kanatse. Check it out. Faya Braz is here. And let's check it out what he has.
This
in
is
hand.
it. This is the album we put out.
Under Control.
The name is One, and the subtitle is Strictly from the Mouth.
All right. So guys, check it out. It's on Spotify and elsewhere.
You have 20 tracks. And it went out in 2011. So yeah, this is how it goes. I know CD are old school, but I like to show it. So this is how it goes.
No, I would love that. This is something that I'm sure if I can, with the thing going on, I'll order this. And if I can,
we can talk in DM. I still have some of these.
Nice. I'll definitely grab
We can
one.
talk in DM later, and maybe talk to me in DM if you wanna.
Okay.
Some. I think I have like maybe 10 of this.
Cool.
So,
Definitely
yes.
knock you for it.
And
Those who can't
was
get
the
this
first.
physically, check it out. It's on Spotify right here under Control.
It's on Spotify.
And search it. But having a physical copy, it's a whole new level. It's
Physical
always
copy,
amazing.
yeah.
It's always good to hold one and have all the stuff, because that's where the hard work is. And with internet, as good as things are, it's also the bad side where you can just rip these songs off. But of course, support the artists. They work really hard. These tracks just don't appear from thin air. Wow, man. I'm definitely hitting you on the DM for that. And wow. Everyone's asking a lot of questions here. Very, very common question. Because no matter which beatboxer we talk to, everyone has their own style of not only beatboxing, but structuring their routines as well. So it's a very common question, but everyone wants to know, how do you structure the Faya Braz routines? What is your core element? What do you move forward with?
It's a good question. My core element is not even beatbox. My core element is telling a story.
Okay.
And then if you are a beatboxer, you might be able to feel that story, I mean, if you have the technique of a beatboxer. But I mean, to me, I see it like a landscape. Flat landscape can be cool, but if it's flat for too long, it's just annoying. So you have to add some mountains, you have to add a road, and then maybe some details on the side, and then I try to see it like that. And then I try to see a progression, and it's like as well, especially for the battles. For the battles, it's a battle time, so you have to show your best. So what the advice I can give is that a lot of really skilly beatboxer kill it, but they kill it from the beginning. So it's really hard when you start spitting something really high level at the beginning. It's really hard to go up. It's really hard to go higher. So you have. According to me, you have to spot which is the technique you consider to be the best, or which is the highlight of your round, or which is the technique you want to show people, or you consider to be the shit, and you wanna show it to the people, and then you have to enlight this part. And if you consider you have 2 of these parts, then go for it. Put 2 of these parts, but these parts has to be the climax of the round and the routine. So it means everything which is before, everything which is after, will lead to this effect. You know.
Right.
So that's more how I conceive my routines. And then after that, I try to spot the story, or I try to find the technique I want to enlight the most, and then I just put clothes on it and just tell the story. You know, I don't know. When you go to a house, you don't go directly into the. I don't know. You go into some other rooms, and then you discover the room, and then you get a proper idea of the room, overview when you went to all the rooms. So you can't just invite something at home and push him directly in the room and stay there. maybe the room is cool, but maybe he wants to. I don't know. It's just a metaphor, but
yeah, of course.
a bit like that for me, as I conceive.
How you're visualizing the entire thing, because
storytelling.
Storytelling. And but one of the things that I'm sure a lot of new school beatboxers are missing is, like I said, going back to the basics. That's one thing. But when I mention basics, it's also the structuring of a routine. Some beatboxers I've heard, they just structure whatever comes to their mind. And you mentioned there's a landscape, then you think of all the stuff, then you visualize it, because you're putting in bits and pieces. That's how you are doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When we are talking about a structure, say the new ones probably think there's an intro, there's and there's a drop.
Yeah,
that's it. That's a repeat and a repeat. I believe you have your own, like a completely different method of doing that.
Yeah,
and not every single track matches the other one.
I just when I give workshops to some kids or to some younger beatboxers, I'm like, it's like when you tell a story, you have to start when you listen to a story when you're a kid. It always starts with a once upon a time.
Right. Exactly.
If you don't get this, you won't have the context.
Right.
You know, if I'm just like, it's okay, but I mean the technique is good. This is some skill. It means nothing because it comes from nowhere and it goes nowhere.
Point.
You know, this is more how I try. I don't know if I do it all the time, but I try to tend to this feeling of nothing is useless. I mean, nothing is here for nothing. There is a slight detail. For example, we talked about this with Alem, and he had a really, really nice reflection about something, and it's part of this. It's part of the story. Like, don't relax your attention while you're doing a round, because it's easy to do. Relax your attention. It means what it means. It means when you do a pattern or a certain story, we tend beatboxer on the last time is always the time when we don't think and we hit.
Yeah,
it's like, just an example, is like the you know, it's a reflex. But Alem has a really good reflection. Is like, you have to think about this place. It doesn't have to be neglected. And it's more like every point doesn't have to be neglected. Like, you can find it like lame just to zoom on that part, but this is the detail will make the whole difference. You know, if you aim the right spot and don't relax your attention at this moment, you got it. And I think this is how you can stay solid on a routine. And I think this is. I just want to quote Alem on this, because we had some really deep discussions about this. And this is how he feels, and this is one of his reflections, and this is one of the thing he pays attention a lot when he does a round. This is why he's Alem. This is why he's so good, because this is flawless, because it's meant to be flawless, and really don't relax your attention. You know, it's easy to say, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. So it's part of this concept, I think.
Not definitely. And one thing I believe the complexity that I've noticed that comes out from the sounds that's created from the heart of Europe, bringing the French sound. I think one of the most important factors is you always go back to the basics, always go back to your roots. And also, as you mentioned, the gap, the intention. And when you have Alem doing his stuff, you don't find a fault in a point. You can't really do that because he's doing it so well. And I watched Alexinho perform, and I was like, what the hell? Even when he's taking a break, then going back, you're like, what just happened? What the hell just happened? So what I want to ask you is, from the beatboxing scene in '96, the time you started, to the mid 2000s to now, what transition happened, do you believe, through the beatboxing? What grew?
Wow, that's a wide question. That's a very wide question because there's a lot of
because I want to learn, because I want to know.
There's a lot of points where it evolved a lot. Like, I don't know, in the mid '90s, there was there weren't that much beatboxers, so everybody was learning from Razel, and then when Kenny Mohammed came, everybody was learning it. What I say is just the second breath of the beatbox came from Europe, but the US definitely invented it, created it. So that's why it's good to go back on this. And what I've seen changing is it's a bit like we were saying just before. It's like the focus is not on the same techniques. They are still there. The focus is not on the same techniques. And you have some, which back in the days you couldn't really tell where a beatboxer was coming from. And now it's not the same. You have some, not everybody, because obviously a lot of beatboxers sound the same. This is about the style.
But there's a signature. There's a distinct sound.
There's a signature.
I mean,
you can really identify the French school, the English school, UK beatbox. You can really identify these beatbox, this style of beatbox, which wasn't the case like 10 years ago. Yes, it was the beginning of identifying this. But I mean, like 20 years ago was not the case. 20 years ago, we were about learning, I don't know, something more wide. The beatboxing was larger before, like hip hop. It was larger. It means it was meant to touch to more things, but you cannot touch too much things and be excellent at each things. So what beatbox did maybe is like some categories came out and some special beatboxers with specialties came out and popped out, but neglecting other techniques. And we come back on what we were saying just before, like, wow, this guy is original. No, he just kept practicing it because it was interesting by that, and it's not the hype anymore, but it's not that original, I mean, it's not. I don't talk in general, but I talk in specific situations or to illustrate what I say. It's a bit difficult. I hope I'm clear enough because even
you're
me,
definitely clear. But let me make it. I think what might just be like a change is the introduction of internet.
Wow.
Around like the 2000s, because I know Europe had it like early mid 90s, if not. Let me quote back on something really interesting.
More beginning of 2000.
More beginning of 2000.
Mid 90s was really rare to have a friend with internet. You had some, but you could download. It was like, hey, you could download the movie. Yeah, in 4 days it's here, bro. It's free.
One song in 1 day or 2 days, my God.
Yeah, and when you used to use internet, you were like cutting the telephone, cutting the So when the mother wanted to call and it was and it was down and you had to download again. Could take ages.
Yeah.
So it was
Man.
It was
I've
this
had
in the
bad time
90s.
with that. I've had bad time with that. My song was like this close. I've got like 4 kilobytes. Why did you pick up the phone?
It was looking something like that. Yes, it was looking
Yeah.
like something like that.
But what I wanted to point out with the internet is I was watching a documentary on Netflix yesterday. It was about video games called Game Over.
Oh,
And
I watched another one called High Score.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
High Score. Yeah, I watched
yes,
it.
High
I
Score.
watched it.
Why did I
It's
say
dope.
Game Over?
It's
One
dope.
thing that blew my mind, and I want to relate that with this conversation we're having, is that Metalhead, the guy two friends who made Doom, and how it started was they were watching a movie with Tom Cruise, and he said Doom.
Yeah,
Can you imagine the word
exactly.
the word came from there. I'm like,
Butterfly
what?
effect. Butterfly
What?
effect, bro.
Yeah, what the hell? I watched that same movie. Why didn't I think of it? And what really I loved what they did was they open sourced it. When the first game came out and they gave the floppy disk to everyone through whatever the free
The first episode, the first stages, were for free.
Exactly. What I really loved, and I believe this is where I'm bringing in beatboxing, is they gave the background coding and everything to everyone so they can mod the game. Because they modded the game, there were games like Heretic, and there were many games after that. I still have the floppy disks, and I remember playing them. What I think happened with internet is that's how beatboxing spread. Because when we hear a Japanese beatboxer, we're like, whoa, man. But they had their own culture and style. Then suddenly internet came in and they got to know. And right now we talk to someone in South Korea, and I'm talking to someone in France. This is absolutely amazing. You wouldn't have imagined this in 96, 2000, 2005. It was there was no YouTube.
Insane.
Exactly.
This is insane.
So do you
Internet
think...
did everything.
Do you
Sorry,
think...
yeah.
No, it's okay. You're going right way. Now it's 2020. How we have seen the scene change in the last 25 plus years. Where do you think we will be in the next 10 years because of how fast everything is? Everything's just like this, you know? You want to make a music thing? We didn't have softwares where we can share a song in 2000, but right now we have a Loopstation. And I could send it to you right now, and you could send it to someone in States, and there would be a song made in like 10 minutes flat.
Yeah.
And the world would hear it in the 11th minute. And the charts will... the radio will play it in 15th minute. So where do you think we will be evolving? And like this is where the basic of beatboxing history is also important. When it's 2030, will we know about Mike Spawn? Will we know enough about Razel? And how fast would the growth of beatboxing be? What is your observation? Because you have seen no internet, then you've seen internet, then you've seen international events. Now you're talking to me, and I'm someone from Bangladesh. You know?
Yeah,
I know it's a very big question.
It's a big question. Many things are in my mind right now, but I don't know. Internet changed the game definitely. Like it gave the power to beatboxers to do what we should have done years before. Like it's opportunity to meet. As I was saying, you're like opportunity to meet. I remember with Mike Spawn, we were going to cyber cafes at the time in 1999 to 2000, 2001, and it wasn't 56K, you know, 54K. Sorry,
the modems we had. I remember.
Modem style. Yeah, and I had to charge. I had to load the thing, go to eat a sandwich. Wait for it, then talk a bit with a friend, take a coffee. Just when I was out the cyber cafe, I was saying to the guy, "Yo, nobody sits down there, okay?" And he was like, "Okay." And I was coming back. It was just to load the Kenny Mohammed, the Columbia University showcase. And then I was there, and
was it the one with the orchestra?
No. It was the one at the. It's a showcase. Like it might be like 20 minutes long, and it's in a college, Columbia University. It's super known.
Everyone, check this out after the podcast. Must check this out.
It's if you don't know, it's a beatbox basics. It was the first time we could see Kenny Mohammed doing the wind technique and doing the water technique. Because we had it in the Make the Music 2000 of Razel, but we never saw him performing. And when we saw this video, beatboxers at the time, we were like, wow. And I remember I was going there with 2 or 3 guys of my neighborhood, and they were at the cyber cafe. They were looking for some girls. I was looking for some beatbox videos, and I was like, yeah, I will load this video. I will load this video. And I was like, yo, watch that video. The guys were like, wow, which is that guy is way stronger than you. I was like, of course, because I was already beatboxing at the time. I was the beatboxer in my area, but I was not beatboxing that much like now, you know. It was like basic beatbox. But I'd like to rebound on what you said just before. You talked about basics of the beatbox, and it's true, because people are always confused with the word basics. But basics doesn't mean necessary knowing about the PTK, you know, knowing about. It's more about timing. It's more about knowing about the signature. It's more about understanding the beats. It's more about the structure. It's more about things like that. So it's a whole thing. Basics is a whole things. And in the basics of beatbox, you have something really important that a lot of beatboxers are neglecting. And beatbox is music. So you have music theory inside. Right. You know, if you want to go further in beatboxing, I don't know. First, I was not knowing about music theory, but I like to play keyboard since I'm a kid. And so if you want to discover and go further, you have to be curious about music theory. So you have to understand it a bit, you know. I'm not a huge fan of 100% doing it with music theory, but it fucking helps. It definitely helps. And if you don't know, you know, knowing the basics of the beatbox is also knowing the basics of the music. It goes through this, starts with this, you know.
Definitely.
And listening a lot of music is really important, not only beatboxers, because otherwise you have a lot of beatboxers sounding the same. Today is good. Is a good era for starting beatboxing, because when you start, you can get a good level in 1 year. But the problem is today, I can't really tell if I close the eyes. Like 70% of the beatboxers I will listen to online, I cannot spot who it is, which wasn't the case back in the days. Back in the days,
it was distinctive. You could understand.
It was really distinctive. You close the eyes. If you hear some Slither, you know it's Slither. If you hear Alexinho, you know it's him. If you hear Alem, you know it's him. Napalm, you know it's him. Bolsey, you know it's him, etc. You know this style of beatboxing. Some guys will be like, wow, they will drop like crazy things because it's normal. There's nothing wrong with not knowing, but they don't know, so they learn on someone was doing it. But then you can feel it, and then everybody is learning the same. So it's really, really hard. You have tons of beatboxers today, which is a good thing. And I really encourage and I really push the most to really be influenced by music and the life around you, not only beatbox techniques. If you want to be a beatboxer, I mean, as a living or just a battler, or go. If you want to improve your beatbox, just be influenced by also a lot more by music than beatboxer, but focus also on beatboxers that bring new stuff. Always share. Always share.
That's that knowledge sharing.
New
and
or
of course,
old guys, new or old heads. You know, don't snub nobody because he's new or old. Because every beatboxer has something to learn to another beatboxer.
Exactly. Even if it's a new beatboxer, you also have something to learn from that person.
Of course. I've been amazed by a lot of newcomers because they have some ideas we didn't have. Because you know, there was like a whole construction of a technique. So while you are building a technique, you look it from close. But when you watch something from further, and then the thing is done, you can take the thing and push it further. So that's why when newcomers come, they think about things the comers before didn't think about, because they were developing that very technique. And it will bring another technique. Look, today, the hype sound is duck sound. It has been existed for years.
Yeah.
Nobody really pay attention to it. And now you got people like Improver or something like that doing crazy things with the duck sound.
Oh man. What? I don't even know which planet he's from. What is this?
It's
but there
great
you go.
beatboxer.
Yeah.
Planet
my
Russia,
God.
man.
But my God.
Big shout out to Improver. He's really one of my favorite new schoolers. Really.
Yeah. And mad respect.
In the
mad
style,
respect.
in the style. I thought we were talking about style, and he really has a style.
And speaking of style, there's a question that came in, and we're linked to at least 3 different places in social media. One of the links, one of the questions that I got is, how did you find your individual style?
Oh,
And if you
how
believe
did
that you have that, how did that form?
because
Faya Braz flow.
I'm a big drummer fan. I'm a big drummer fan, and I'm a big hip hop fan. So I started with doing a lot of drum and a lot of I love rhythm, you know. And when I met beatboxers, we just started to develop things. And when there is something which is really addictive doing beatboxing and doing some rhythms. So constantly emulating to look for, you know, there is something really good. Find someone that you consider better than you, and try to go further than him. That was my point. When I was with Mike Spawn, to me, this guy was stronger than me. I had to do better.
Surpass him. Like push forward.
And I think maybe it was a bit the same for him. You know, we were like constantly, you know. And it's good to have like you know, like at least one guy that you can push with him, you know, like you can push the beatbox to next levels and things. So I think one of my main inspirations, of course, is Mike Spawn, my beatboxing as a beatboxer in the techniques, because for years I was only working with this guy. And then we met PHM, who was down player, Mike Flo, Mr. Lips. We meet these guys, and then they were gravitating around the same things in the beatboxing, but seeing it from another eye and seeing it from other techniques. So we learned from them. Then we met Ezra. Then we met a lot of people. We met LOS, things like that. And we were talking about internet. Back in the days, I had to load like 30 minutes for the video, and then all of a sudden, on a forum which was called humanbeatbox.com, we see, there's gonna be a international beatbox convention. We were with Mike Spawn and say, let's go. And then we went there.
Oh man.
We had a friend, a girl who was living in London at the time, and she just took hostel for us and said, yeah, you can come, guys. And we went there, and this is the first time, my first beatbox event. The first time I was meeting so much beatboxers. This is one of my best memories.
When was this?
It was in 2000. It was in April 2003 in London, Imperial College, and it was organized by A Plus, Tight, Shlomo, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh man, Shlomo, A Plus. I found a video of A Plus, a very old video of A Plus.
Oh, A Plus, man, he become billionaire.
Oh, what? Serious?
He become billionaire. Yeah. He just created something where you can pay a pixel for advertising on the internet, like 15 years ago, and he become billionaire with this. He just became billionaire with this.
He got A plus. He got A plus with it.
He got A plus. I don't get the process, the proper thing, but I think it's something like that. And he's the guy who did it. You know, there is the guy did this. This is A plus, and so he was the organizer, and he was a dope beatboxer actually. That's where we met. I met in this convention B.B. Byrne. And this guy is Byrne Gorman. He's a comedian, and he played in Game of Thrones, in some Guy Ritchie movies and stuff like that.
He was in Game of Thrones and a Guy Ritchie movie.
A secondary role. He was in the army as a knight. You know, you can see him. Not in the main roles, but he appears in Game of Thrones.
Wow.
He was a beatboxer, B.B. Byrne. He just beatbox for him now. You get many people like that. You don't know. When I talked with Kenny Mohammed, he told me he was at school with Pharoah Monch, and Pharoah Monch, the rapper, was a beatboxer at the beginning. He was beatboxing with Kenny Mohammed.
So when you met Kenny Mohammed for the first time, how did you feel? Looking at all the videos.
I was
That's
crazy. I met him in Paris. I was crazy. He was actually, that's fun. He was actually working with a guy who I am working right now, and who I was with yesterday to record some things. Manu Wanji is a guy that worked with Kenny Mohammed on the project at the time. I met Kenny, and he talked to me about this. He told me Pharaoh Monch was a rapper before. He was a beatboxer before being a rapper. Sorry, and he was with him in school. You know, and that's why you have to meet people. You have to meet people.
Definitely.
We have to. I don't know from where we were starting the conversation and we switched on this.
No, but this is good flow, and we're talking about. You're hitting back a lot of questions that I've asked.
Yeah, at the convention. That was the convention.
It was
the convention in London was crazy, and this is basically the place I've met one of the main heads of what became beatbox later. I mean, when I got there, we were in Mike's Spawn, and we heard it was just the beginning. And Ali ND, which is still a good friend, one of my best friends from Italy. Big shout out to him. We met Ali ND. Is the creator of this snare. It's an inward cough snare. Inward cough snare. He's the creator of this, and he was doing things like.
Bring it back.
And in 2003, when we would come to the venue, we were like, "What?" You were hearing this, and then Beatmaster G from Spain, who had a crazy style. Nino G, who is still active, who is probably one of the oldest beatboxers in Europe, from Switzerland. Nino G, my big bro. Big respect to Nino G. He's the only guy I know who shook the hands of Buffy. He's the only guy I know who did this in Europe.
What?
Yeah. He's the only he met Darren Robinson. He met him. Really.
Oh, man.
He's the only guy I know in Europe who did this. He's one of the oldest beatboxers in Europe. And also Fatou, R.I.P. Fatou from Switzerland. I don't know. A lot of I met Bilo there. I met Mr. Lips from Under Control. We met there. I basically met Waxy Box, who is a French beatboxer, there, and we still talk to each other. And
so
you didn't meet in the community.
Yeah, you didn't meet them here, but you met them over there. But
I met Tight, I met Shlomo, I met A Plus, I met so many people. We at the after party we met Faith SFX. That was the first time we were saying him. He was beatboxing for 9 months, and he was 16 years old. He was the first name on the open mic, and when we saw the guy, we were like, "What the fuck?" And we instantly went to him and talked with him. The first time we met Faith SFX with Mike Spawn, and we were like, "Yo, keep on beatboxing, you'll kill it. Keep on beatboxing." That's what he did. Like 1 year later, he was the main beatboxer. Like 1 year later,
man. And he was just 16. He was
just 16, and he was at school and wasn't allowed to come to the convention at day. But at night, he went to the after party. It was in Whitechapel in London.
Wow, man.
The Rhythm Factory was the name of the club. I remember it very well. And there was we had like open mics there. This was the time of the beatboxer Lionheart too. He totally disappeared. Like, I don't know. It was these times, man. There was good times.
You know what's really
Japanese beatboxer were there. That was crazy. That was the first time we would actually realize and meet people from other. We met Kid Lucky here, my big bro. Happy birthday, Kid Lucky. This is his birthday today.
Shit. Dude, happy birthday. Wow. Oh, man.
I met Kid Lucky. I met Bilo. I met Bilo there. We met so much beatboxer. We met so much beatboxers that were there.
You were like this.
The French beatboxer Rewind was there. We met him here. I'm going to eat with him later. And he was living in my former flat here. I gave him the key. Was living in my former flat. I met this guy that day. I'm going to see him just after that.
One thing I want to tell right now
Butterfly effect, man. Butterfly
I know,
effect.
but what's really amazing, is like, how we look at videos right now. It's like, okay, 2007 video on YouTube. Oh, wow, this is how it looked. But where you grew up, where how we, say my generation grew up, and everyone, for us, just hearing someone talk about it makes a lot more sense, and we visualize it thinking, what the hell? I would rather do this than watch the video because it is giving me goosebumps. It is absolutely, because when I saw A Plus's video,
it's giving me goosebumps
from you right
too when I think about it too.
God.
That's why I really push people to meet beatboxers, whatever the age, whatever the country, whatever I really push hard people to meet, and ask questions.
they should. Definitely, they should, no matter what.
Just meet
be
and ask
curious.
questions, because there's also something I want to say.
Sure.
Every big beatboxer, we receive tons of inbox messages. Of course, people want to talk with us, but we are not able to answer everyone. So the best thing, because I guess there are a lot of people ask me questions. Sometimes I say, hey, how are you? I'm fine, and you? And then I forgot because I have to scroll for ages to find a message. So the best thing is that come to the events and talk with us. This is the best way to learn something, because it as you said, you better talk to someone who was there, rather than see the video, even if the video is cool. But that was the effect. I had this feeling when Russell talked to me about many things I didn't know, and I was
Man.
wow, I understand more now.
I can relate with this because, like, I don't think I'll ever forget this experience. One of the biggest events that I went to, for me, I know that you guys get to go because of the countries around you, and it's open. You can just walk into a country now, as opposed to early days. So me flying all the way to Taiwan, it was difficult. Just to get a visa was difficult because we had to get it from Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
There's no embassy in Bangladesh.
Okay.
But
Wow.
it felt amazing because, I'm watching them online. And, talking to them is a completely different ball game. When you're messaging them, you're hundreds of people from 100 different places. Like, I didn't know a lot about Dharni. Like, I knew what he was. I saw his
tell this
beatboxing.
because some people can think we are snobbing them, but it's not the case.
No,
It's
that's
just
not
we
how it
can't.
works. Exactly. That's
We
not how
can't
it is.
do it. We just can't.
Exactly.
It's too much people.
Without a doubt. But that's the thing. So I don't think I chatted with you before when we had the BoxCon. It wasn't before that. That's how we spoke. We found a common ground. We spoke about history. Then we got in touch. That's how we started speaking. That's how this is happening. And it's not easy. I'm sure someone from Morocco is writing to you right now, and probably you might or might not
Double M.
be able to answer to him in the months or a year. Oh yeah, big shout out! What a scene, man! They just appeared from nowhere. I'm saying Morocco because I saw some of their dope videos, man. These guys, it's amazing. The north side of Africa is going.
Active. It's one of the most active spots in Africa. Really,
dude.
Really, I
Mad.
really big shout out, big Ash for the Moroccan beatbox community. They do big things. A big shout out to Double M. Big shout out to Positive School, to Baus, to all these people. These people doing it real, and this is one of the biggest organization in hip hop and beatbox in Africa. They do a lot of stuff. Really,
This is
much
absolutely
respect.
amazing. Much
But
respect,
Khamem's
man.
family.
But Faya Braz, one thing, since we're mentioning so many countries, how many countries did you go to, and what kind of beatboxing culture, like what sort of information did you get? I believe you came to India on the
Good question.
side.
I came twice to India. Yes,
Right.
I came twice
And
to
what
India.
are the countries? What experience did you get regarding beatboxing from the countries you visited?
If I take India, first time was really hard because we were with Under Control. And it was a tour, really fast tour. It was one city one day. So we didn't have real time to meet beatboxers this time.
Oh man!
So it was really hard. And the second time I went there to do a tour solo, and it was in 4 years ago. And I went to Delhi, Chandigarh, Bangalore, and Chennai. And when I got there, I really had the opportunity to meet beatboxers in every city. And some beatboxers, I'm still in touch with them, like Abhinav from Chennai.
Abhinav,
He's living in Vancouver now, in Canada. Big shout out to him. Ash. Xiaolong, and people like I met him in Chennai, for example. He was still living there at the time. So what I've seen is that the Delhi community was really nice. They came like 20, I don't know, 15, 20 people, talk with me. Big shout out to Osho Beatbox. He got me everywhere there. His friend Rao. Then I went to Chandigarh. Big shout out to Silence. This is I think this is his name. Silence. Big shout out to you, my man. You really got me. You really got me to some nice places there. Big up to the Bangalore community. I went there.
They're doing good stuff, man. They're doing.
Bro, I went there to do a concert. I went there to do a gig, and there were so many beatboxers. We did a battle. Big shout out to Vincent Vinit in Bangalore. He's a hip hop activist over there. He's doing a lot of stuff in the area. Big shout out in Sri Lanka to Julius Mitchell is doing a lot of stuff.
Great stuff, man.
We met
I've
in
been
Paris.
following him.
We met in Paris. He was actually surf coaching at a brothers of a girlfriend I have. He was actually surf coaching and the brother of this girl. And the brother called me, say, "Yo, I'm with the beatboxers from Sri Lanka. I want to meet you." And then I got there. So that's how I met Julius. And he's a really good guy, really active.
He's a good singer. He's a very good singer.
I know.
Wow.
He's a really good beatboxer, good singer. I mean, about the area of this part of the world, there's a lot of beatboxers. We did a battle. I think this is Rishab who won, a really talented young beatboxer in India. Rishab. He really nailed it.
I haven't heard of
I don't know. Yeah. Experiences I had in this case is Tico just got back home.
Shout out to Tico.
Shout out to Tico. Around the world, I've been all around the world, especially with Tico, who just came back. I've been all around the world with these guys. We've been touring with Under Control. It's good. It's coming there at the right time. If you
I hope one day we can have Under Control in Bangladesh. Hopefully.
Under Control is over, man. It won't happen.
No, bro.
Yeah.
I thought I would physically get the physical CD from you.
For sure.
Damn it.
For sure. Yeah, the group. We split in 2016.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That part I didn't know.
We're not in bad terms. We just split. It's just over.
Yep.
We did like 10 years of big tours everywhere. We've been traveling all over. For example, we did a big tour in Africa with Under Control. It was like for two months and a half.
Wow.
Like every 4 days you change country. We had like 24, 25 countries there. And every country is different. Every country is different. We met beatboxers everywhere. The Kenya community is really shout out to Noise, Young Noise. Shout out to Noise. Shout out to South African community. Shout out to Aimo. Aimo is doing big things over there.
He is mad respect to the guy. Mad respect to him.
Shout out to Aimo. He's doing big things over there.
I love the fact that he knows. There's so much to know from him. When I spoke to the guy, I'm like, what the hell? That was the first time I got to speak to him.
He's a real beatboxer. He's there. He's been there for a long time. When I was there with Under Control, first time he went to Cape Town, he's the only guy that filmed the concert and sent it to Pepuni. You can put Under Control Cape Town. You will see the video is on Swiss Beatbox. And this is Aimo that gave it to Pepuni at the time. And at the time, Swiss Beatbox was just like, I don't know, it was just like a blog, you know.
Just Peponi's
videos. Really, people who are really into beatbox would know Swiss Beatbox at the time. And Peponi is a true activist. It's what a journey he did, bro. Peponi from the back in the days, so it's deserved 100%. You know, when you see from where people are coming from, you know, it's like, wow. So I can't really answer to the question what I think will be in 10 years. You know, it's too.
But you answered a lot of questions. You spoke in
the fan is
volumes.
Really big. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a specific answer that I want to see it like this. Whatever you have said and all the stuff that you've mentioned, it pinpoints to the direction. My God. Oh man, I'm just. It's gonna take some time. I'm gonna knock you and get some of the names, and I'm gonna find out a lot more old videos that I need to learn from. That I need to
Please
know about,
ask me if I can tell you, if I can tell you something, if I can give you an information. Please ask. No problem. My pleasure, bro.
For sure, man. Thank you so much. But everyone who's here, whatever questions you have, ask him. And as you mentioned, Under Control, IMO, you can also check that video out. You must watch Under Control's performance. Do check it out. And I, for one, like I said, I'm going to definitely grab the CD that he has still. And I want to have history in my hands. When I'm old, I want to talk about it. That's the one. That's the one. My God. And, okay. Wow. Okay. I have a few more questions before I end it. I know that Faya Braz has a lot of plans today, but I'm more than honored that you gave me time today.
My pleasure, bro. Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I have to ask this, and this is for the new ones. They're very keen on knowing a lot more things, and they need to open their minds. With internet in front of them, I believe opportunities and possibilities are endless. But somewhere we get stuck. So the question is, when you battle someone, how important is it that you have to battle with the trendy sounds? Is it really important? Do you really need to do that?
No, because as I say to you, if you stick to something you can do better than others, you will finally get points on the originality. You will suddenly do something which is totally different from what is trendy. Of course, trend is more like, wow, the sound is so technically interesting that we, for 1 or 2 years, we will push this to see what we can do with this sound. This is more like, this sound is so cool that it became the hype. But at the end of the day, it will become a tool when the hype is gone. You know?
Exactly. I believe.
So I think this is not necessary to be like, with hype, you can perfectly do a round today without any duck sound or without any double voice. The only thing you can't do is do a round without timing, without structure, without all we talked about before. I don't think it's necessary. You can, of course. I think people wait for it, and if you especially not used to do this sound, if you do it, you will take points. But I don't know if you have to. I wouldn't focus on. I have to have only new things. Just Tico trying to hit, but he's a very bad ninja.
For a second, I thought that was a cat.
Yeah. That was not the cat. That was Tico.
That was not the cat.
The cat is way smaller than that. He tried a ninja move, but he's very bad. A ninja is better.
But it's okay. We are honored. I'm honored that he came into the screen, and thank you, Tico, wherever you are.
He can't really hear you, but yes, they say thank you for
coming in. Yes, what's up, man? All right, man.
Just doing his stuff.
This is a question. By the way, whoever's asking, you can just search on YouTube, Kenny Mohammed Win Technique. If you have not watched the video, you must watch it now. Okay, the question I've been waiting.
The real cat actually passed down just behind.
Damn. All right. The question. This is a very typical question, but I'm still asking. Yeah? Where the hell did Esh come from? Everyone asks.
Wow,
and this is how we confuse them. Everyone goes like, "What's Esh?" Esh. No. What is the meaning of Esh? Esh.
Esh is Esh.
Esh is Esh, exactly. But what's the origin of Esh?
There is no really. At the beginning, it was just an inside joke with Mike Flo. It was born. You want to know where it was born? Esh was born in Nigeria. It's born in Nigeria. So we were touring in Nigeria, and we were stuck at the hotel, at the Hilton Hotel in Nigeria, because Nigeria is very dangerous. So when you go there, they put you in big hotels. So you spend all the money you come to take in the hotel, So we were staying there, and it was a bit annoying. So we were hanging around the hotel, and the Hilton Hotel in Abuja, Nigeria, is a big one. So you have inside, you have like a mall. You have like a barber shop. You have like many pizza restaurants. You have everything's right there. It's like a city. It's like a small city. And then we started to hang up this. We were in the lift, and I just started to Vine. It was a Vine, actually. It was the Vine era. I just started
The
to
7
Vine.
seconds.
Yeah, with mic flow in the lift in the elevator, and I just said to him, I wanted to say wesh. Wesh in French is like what's up. And I was like just lazy style. I was like yesh, and he just got back at me like yesh. And then we just watched this 1 second was really funny, and we said okay, let's do some more yesh. So he went in front of the barber shop watching at the prices, and I was behind and saying Ash, and it was like Ash. Then going around the swimming pool, he was like having a cocktail, and then I was behind him and was like Ash, and he would like Ash, dumb things like that.
Wow.
Then we did a second one in Zimbabwe. We were in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. We did a second one, and then one day Darnie asked me what's Ash, and I laughed a lot. I just told him, there's nothing, bro. It's Ash. Say, okay, I want to do this next time we meet. And we met at La Cup. And so Darnie was like, okay, let's do a Ash Vine. And I was like, Ash. I did with Darnie. He's like drinking vodka, Ash. Then he's peeing like Ash. Then he's at the ATM and he's putting the card in the ATM. And I'm like, Ash. And he's like, Ash, It was just dumb like that, for no reason.
Yeah.
And
My
for
God.
no particular reason, this Vine became viral.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to judge Japan, Taiwan, and Hong Kong with Marcus for 2 weeks, and we were full of ash because we didn't know. But I didn't know. But when I got in Asia, everybody was ashing. So it was Asia, Everybody was ashing. It was Asia. We were keeping like, ashing in Asia. We was like in Japan. Everybody was like ash. So I was like, yo, it's huge. And then we started vining only Ash and doing only Ash videos on Instagram and on Vine. And then everybody started ashing, and then it became a thing. And then it became like really huge. And then now it became Ash. Like this, how it was born.
Man,
So it's just something dumb at the beginning, and then now I created like a story with Ash. With Ash cannot be discussed. Ash is Ash. There's no definition. There's a.
You even have a track. There's a track, right?
I have a track. Actually, I will say it again. I'm very angry because I have a second track, which is not ready because some people don't do the verses. The Ash 2 is done for my part. Normally, it's with Slither, BBK, and Slither, BBK, me, and Ian. We are supposed to do this. Slither did his part. I did my part. It's been years. It's done. It's been years. It's done.
Ian didn't do anything.
Swish, BBK, Swish, you fucked up. You fucked up. Do the track.
Man.
Yeah, do the track. Do the track, guys. Come on, the track is a banger. Do the track. We did. It's time. But the H2 exists. It's right in this computer.
Wow. Okay, BBK and Ian, Swish, if you're watching this, or I'll just knock them and go like drop the track.
I've met Swish on a lot of events since then, and it's like always the same. You fucked up. Go and do it.
Oh man. Wow.
It will never go out like it's like detox. I'm sure.
It might come out when you guys are like 50, 60. It'll be like, hey, put it up, man.
If it goes like this, it's already good. It's the positive ending.
Right. But you know what you did? Let me tell you one thing about this Ash thing. It has united people. I'm not even joking. In Bangladesh, if you're walking down the road and you're like, Ash, and if you're seeing a beatboxer or a beatboxing group on the side, we've done this at a mall, and we just randomly said Ash. Everyone turned and they were like Ash, and we didn't speak anything beyond the word Ash, and this is how it felt like.
You just knew. You just know.
Exactly. You're like you'd be like, wow, man. That's like no other language, just the word
crazy.
Ash.
Man, I had no idea. When I did,
No.
I had no idea.
Hey, bro.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
No,
but I had
the
no idea.
word esh is in Bangladesh, man. It's right
Yeah.
here in the country.
Bro,
Esh.
bro, that's crazy. Bangladesh, wow. I'm proud.
Well, I didn't notice this when we all knew Bangladesh had the esh in it, but when we were joking about it, Gene and Napalm, when they arrived to Bangladesh in the last battle we had, so suddenly Gene goes like, "Dude, check out the car on the left side." So you have I love France, I love Germany, or whatever countries. So it said
Yeah.
I love Bangladesh. The D was missing.
Wow.
We were like, that's the one, man. Wow.
Wow.
Faya Braz, I'm at a loss of words, and I hope we could have done like more conversation. I hope we can do like a part 2 in future someday.
Anytime, let's do a part 2, bro. No problem. No problem.
I would love.
It's
I
been a
know
great
you
pleasure
said
to talk with you.
it's a great pleasure as well for my side. I know I'll definitely talk to you about this in DM to get like EOG or under control, just for like a reunion or something, just to talk, because I believe all of us need to know so much. I don't think I know even enough from you today. There's a lot more to know that I believe the new generation needs to know. This is why this Beats with Baksho podcast is there, so people know history, so people know more about a lot of beatboxers and the route that they came from. So Faya Braz, the last thing I want to ask you today, and it would be an extreme level of honor if you could drop a beat for everyone.
Of course.
And
Of course.
before that, if you have anything to say to the new beatboxers of Bangladesh or the subcontinent, they would love to hear something from you.
I don't know. Just
Anything,
Ash.
any advice, any advice.
Ash. No, just kid. I don't know. Just work good at school. Drink water. Don't do illegal things. Do beatbox. Meet.
Yeah.
Create events. Create pretext together. Seriously, create pretext together as beatboxers.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. All right, the mic is yours, Faya Braz. Drop it like it's hot. Let's do this.
Okay. Beatbox Bangladesh. Esh.
Yes. Hell yeah. Faya Braz on fire. Wow, man. Do check him out. Do follow him on the social medias. And anyone who's heard Under Control for the first time, it's all right. The internet doesn't tell you everything. It's on Spotify or search on YouTube. You must delve into the history of hip hop, the history of beatboxing from every country whenever you can. And if you have missed Faya Braz and every question that we have asked him here, you can watch the podcast later on. It's on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. This is the archive that we have been discussing. This is here so that you benefit from it, so that you learn more about beatboxing no matter where you are. Faya Braz, super honored, and I'm really happy that I got to spend some time
Thanks
with you.
for having
Everyone
me. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And everyone who's here, they've been...
Hey, I saw Abi is there. Abi, Esh.
Abhinav
Abhinav is
here?
there. Yes, he's there.
Bradesh.
Bradesh, Esh, Xiaolong. I didn't
Oh,
see you.
man.
I didn't see you before.
All right, he just popped in right now. But it's
Yeah.
amazing how everyone's coming in. So once again, this is Beats with Baksho. Faya Braz just dropped an amazing shout out. And we're going to let him go because he has a lot of stuff to do. But also keep inspiring us. Keep doing your stuff. We'll definitely, hopefully meet one day. And I'm going to take
Really
that
hope so, bro.
one city. And of course, have you in Bangladesh sometime in future if that is possible.
Really
Stay
hope so.
safe. Stay well. Well,
Stay
you
safe
and-
too, bro. Stay healthy, everybody. Drink water. Esh.
Echelon. I've been not saying that. All right. Peace out. Peace out. And of course, saying goodbye. This is Beats with Baksho, BeatBaksho and Faya Braz.